What is conditioning? That which is not yours, and to be precise, not you. That which is not yours and that which is not you, all that is conditioning. Something that is external, something that has been imposed on you, all that is conditioning. Every human being is a collection of years of conditioning. If your age is 20, then you are having imprints of thousands of different kinds of conditioning. And that conditioning, that collection of conditioning, is now calling I am, and all the habits, all the interests, hobbies, which are the result of conditioning. Even how you will use the faculty of intellect, the faculty of thinking, even that is conditioned. So you cannot even exceed the limitations and boundary of your thinking. You cannot think beyond your conditioned patterns. Do you see the intensity of slavery this conditioning is? And this is why it is necessary to get rid of conditioning, because it limits your freedom. Once you get rid of every bit of your conditioning, then what remains is individuality. Then thought is fresh, then action is fresh. Before, everything is totally conditioned. Your thought, your action, your response, your reaction, everything. Your judgment, your perception. Start by seeing your actions. See from where they are coming. Then move towards thought. Then move towards emotions. See that it is a tendency, it is a habit to think in this way, the chain of thoughts. Then doubt your perception, then inquire into your perception of the world. We are used to certain kind of perception that we have, and we never doubt that perception. Because we never doubt that perception, so it feels absolute. Start doubting that perception, and this doubt is the beginning. Initially it won't make any sense, and there is no shortcut. You will have to move step by step: action, thought, emotion, tendency, perception. Actually, that action is happening out of that absolute perception. That thought process is happening out of that perception. That emotion, the way those emotions are capturing your attention, that is happening out of that perception. This tendency, you understand? Tendency means a habit, a fixed pattern, a program executing itself. For example, if your tendency is that you are very sensitive, not sensitive in spiritual sense, but you are more emotional. So you will deliberately look for situations to cry or to worry. This is tendency. A fixed program which executes itself. Superficial things can change, for example, reason or excuse. This can change. But the core is always the same, and that is that I will overthink or cry. But the reason, they do change. Same situation, 10 people, 10 different reactions. Why? Because of different tendencies, different thought process, different conditioning. All this, if combined, known as conditioning. Action, thought, emotion, tendency, perception. Step by step, you have to move. And you will know. And once you have seen the plane of action completely, you will be moved, you will be sent to the plane of thought. Your seeing will get more subtle, more subtle. You will feel that why I was not able to see this before, and the answer is simple, that you thought that it is absolute, it is obvious. Otherwise, things can happen even now. Even now, you can reach to the level of tendency. If there is intention, if there is dedication, if there is love for truth and liberation. But because there are various things which you think are okay, you already know, just because you are familiar, so you feel that you also know. So you think that they don't require inquiry. Self-inquiry is not just continuously asking who am I? It's rather to inquire into every aspect of your life. Where do you work? Where do you study? What food choices you make? What type of clothes you wear? From where they are coming? Why? What exactly you are insecure about? Everything. Inquiry into the self. Which self? False self. False self is just an abstract. But if we look at it, then we will see that it is nothing but just its expressions. And those expressions are expressed in the form of thought, action, tendency, perception, emotion. Regarding emotion, so emotion is like, it gives life to the thought. Without emotion, thought has no value. You must have seen, like, same thought came in the morning, it had no effect on you. It came in night, it had effect. It had some, it caused some movement in the mind, some restlessness, because emotions were different. Initially, you will have to anyway start, and once you start seeing the benefits, and the benefit is just this, that consciousness, the nature of consciousness is knowing, inquiry, curiosity. We have just covered our consciousness with various things that we don't know, but we are just familiar. So we think that we know, but we don't. So we have to just know them. It starts from looking at your daily habit, your daily routine. Just see, don't label it, don't judge. Judgment is coming from past. The framework or blueprint given to you by society, which is this kind of action is bad or a sin. So when you are judging, you are actually again just doing the same thing. There is a movement of thought which makes no sense. Everybody has that blueprint given by society, but none of them are free from conditioning, which means that blueprint is useless. Just see, because you don't know. Once you will see the worthlessness of it, not because I am saying, but because it is. But only because you don't inquire, you feel that you know. It's not even that you think, it's just that you just feel. Self-improvement is, we can say, a very basic thing, but the disadvantage of self-improvement is from the very beginning, it says the one who is improving is absolute. It's just that there is some minor problem and that can be taken care of with some improvement, some change on the superficial level, which is impossible. How the problem of tendency can be solved by just changing the thought? How does constantly repeating something in mind will change your entire habit? It does. But that is, even if it is if it's not helping, it's good. But if it's helping, then this means that now you will take self-improvement as something absolute. Now the problem is that the one who is improving, again you are more sure that the one who is improving is absolute and there is no problem. And what you are doing in the name of self-improvement is, which exactly what self-improvement is, that you are polishing your symptoms. In the name of treating your problem, you are actually polishing your symptoms. Okay, I note down every minute of what I do throughout the day. I'm so disciplined. But for what? What are you trying to achieve? Only that which you have acquired from conditioning. So even your ambitions, your goals are the product of conditioning. Again, you are a slave. You are just more efficient slave. But how does it make any difference? You are still ignorant. You are still ignorant. You don't know why you get sad. You are just acting confident. That doesn't mean that there is no fear. There is. There is. Real confidence comes from the self, the real self. If you see any self-improvement guy showing confidence, then it is just pretense. Fear wearing the mask of confidence. Fake confidence. A coping mechanism, you can say. So self-improvement, yeah, if a person is so dull, then he needs self-improvement, because no, if he is not even that much dedicated to even meet the norms, the very basic criteria given by the society, then how will he enter into something which is very, very, very rare and nobody around him is doing? How will he develop dedication and love for it? So for such people, self-improvement is necessary. Once they feel that, yeah, life is somehow in our control and yeah, there is some sort of discipline, so then they can move towards self-knowledge, self-inquiry. It doesn't mean that you have to read so many books. Life itself is a great teacher. Only condition is that you must have intention. Seeing without intention, knowing without intention is of no use. There has to be love for liberation. There has to be honesty, because even if you have seen something, if there is no honesty to accept it, then there will be no change. So there has to be intent plus honesty. Both of these combined, it comes out as love. Love for truth. This is the real definition of self-love. In the usual sense, self-love means loving the conditioning. Now I'm not sure, like, how can you love your slavery, being a slave? So this is what freedom means. You must have heard this word, freedom. You don't have to fight. There is no physical effort. There is no mental effort either that you are suppressing thoughts in. You have to just awaken. There is nothing mystical about it. It's not something dramatic that will happen someday. It happens gradually. Start by awakening to your actions, thoughts, emotions, tendency, and the overall perception that you carry about the world. There is a perception that you carry about the world, and that perception is the result of your conditioning. So when you are operating in the world, even when you are listening to what I am saying, even when you are meeting people, even when you are doing something, you are actually just listening or experiencing your own echo chamber. The perception is actually projection coming out of conditioning. This we can understand by looking at this example, that same situation, but totally different reactions. Because 10 different perception, which means 10 different projections being imposed on the factual reality, on the objective reality, 10 different projections are projected, and those projections are coming from conditioning. And from where does the conditioning come? Conditioning comes from genetics, upbringing, education, environment, friends. When you reach the age of 7 or 8, depending on your conditioning till 7 or 8, then you choose what kind of further conditioning you want. But even that is not free will, because you are already conditioned to choose what more you want as a conditioning. What else could you have chosen? If not this, then what? The only answer is self-inquiry, because there is no other way. If you think that by thinking, by analyzing, by planning, I can get out of this, then bro, what's this? Whatever you will think is just the result or product of your years of conditioning. How can the thinker exceed the limitation? How can the thought exceed the limitation of the thinker? The thinker is the result of years of conditioning. How can the thought exceed the limitations of the thinker? The only way out is just the seeing. This seeing is impersonal. This is not something that the ego does. Initially, it will feel that I am this false self, the egoic self is doing this. But from the very beginning, it's actually done by understanding. This is impersonal. Do you understand? This is impersonal. The conditioned self or the false self or the egoic self is not something that you can say, oh, there is an entity there. This is the false self. It is just habit. It is just a set of neurons, a set of pattern executing itself like a program. So conditioning is a program. Don't think those who have conditioned you, they are the programmers. They are also just a program. So program is writing codes for another program. Program is controlling another program. Until and unless you realize this, you are just a program which cannot exceed the limitations of his or her conditioning or programming. The moment you see your conditioning as conditioning, then the next day you will not see that, you won't even remember. The great changes are those which are not deliberate. This is also a minus point of self-improvement, that there they have already told you that you have to do this, but they never question who is the doer. Also understand why all this is necessary. Right now, your every movement is the result of your restlessness. This should hit hard in your hearts. It should pain that whatever I do throughout the day, whatever I have been doing, and whatever people around me are doing are just out of their restlessness. So if all that is out of their restlessness, how can there be real joy? Their smiles are hollow. Their life is either running by social norms or bodily instincts or tendencies. Where is individuality? Where is individuality? That is why I'm not speaking this for any single person, depending on his or her conditioning. But still, it's making sense to everybody. Why? Because your conditioning is the same, but each of you feel as if you are somebody special, somebody unique, somebody who should be treated as someone very important. But if you examine closely, you will find that there is nothing unique. Yeah, there is superficial changes on the plane of conditioning, but deep down on the core, in the core, it's just that there is bodily instincts, the physical fear that you have acquired psychologically. So now it is psychological fear which you are projecting on everything. There is an assignment that you have to write. There has to be only a concern, not fear, not anxiety, but there is anxiety because the brain is programmed in a way that it detects threat. But because you are so identified with the brain, which means you're so identified with the body. So you have acquired that physical fear, and now it is the psychological fear. So whatever you look at, there is fear. But you see, if your parents show possessiveness towards you or fear towards you, then if you know they love me, this is not love. This is not love. Either the well will have water for all or for none of us. It won't have water for only 4 and poison for the entire world. So if there is love, it will be for all, not for few. But see, the stupidity of ego. It destroys the essence of all these sacred words, which should be made a sacrilege to misuse or either use. No need to use. What will you do if you're just doubting love, awareness, witness, creativity? You see, there are various subjects and courses and articles, business creativity, as if creativity has types, and this creativity is something that the ego can do. You are right now understanding this is creativity. This is not your creation. You cannot do anything about it. This is creativity. Permutation and combination of your conditioning is not creativity. Rearranging the patterns is not creativity. When something comes unexpectedly, even you don't have idea from where it came, but there was necessity. This is creativity. You get an insight. This is creativity. The machine can only detect movement of thought, neurons firing, but it can never detect understanding. This is what creativity is. Understanding is creativity, nothing else.